How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Your boy Deuce is back. Hey, I just wanted to touch base with you guys and share something with you guys. And back with another harsh reality reaction, guys. He named this video, "Is there any connection to the Idaho student murders, guys?" Now, my question is this. You draw something on a drawing, or you listen to certain kind of music, or maybe you hunt and you kill animals and that's what you was raised doing, does that make you a killer? Just because you have social media with stuff on it that may tie you into something of drawings or something else, does that connect you as the murderer to these girls? That is the question we're answering today, guys. Now, could it have something to do with your mind, how your mind works, how you put stuff together? Could you fantasize in a drawing? Could you do all that? Sure, you could. And I think that's what we're touching on today. Anyways, guys, but first, love yourself, like yourself, be nothing but yourself. Like and subscribe to the channel is highly appreciated. Without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the video.
Meat and potatoes, and we're going to touch on something. Now, this is going back to someone that we've spoken about previously. And what I want to say before I go any further is this. When we talk, when we speculate, when we speak about people, we're not saying that these people have done anything whatsoever. They are completely innocent until proven guilty. But what we're trying to do is be fair. There's a lot of people, the Jacks for argument's sake, who are getting a lot of heat. We're also seeing some people getting heat who really don't have anything to do with it, and having their addresses and everything doxed. This isn't about this at all. This is about looking at the information that's out there in the public domain already, and speaking about it and seeing whether we think that it's anything, whether it's nothing. And, this is, again, something that we touched on previously, briefly, not quite this in depth. And this is Jack K. So what we're going to be looking at is this. This is a post. This is from a thread that was originally on another platform, and it was removed. They blocked it, and this talks about Jack K and the fact that this was a Reddit blocked thread. Now, a lot of people are saying, why isn't this person being spoken about more when you start delving into his social media, when we're picking apart other people's social media and using that as a way to say that they did something. Now, this could just prove in this video that, look, this is just the nature of the beast. This is what these kids are like. This is just part and parcel of being in this area, being part of the fraternities and the sororities that they are.
But then again, guys, look, we can go and we can say doxing is doxing, but whenever you are with these girls at this food truck, should we dox addresses? No, we should not. So I'm actually gonna, backtrack on what I just said. That's not right. But whenever you are trying to get information about somebody, it's not our responsibility anyways. That's the police's responsibility to get that information and go forward with it in a professional manner. So doxing is not cool. But in a college, when you're in college, a lot of people wants to know your home addresses, want your friends, you're around each other for a year, 2 years, maybe even go on to, for 4 to 5 years together. So you become close friends. So, doxing is not cool, but you have fraternities like they was at. And who knows what goes on inside those fraternities, inside their minds, let alone. I'm not saying the killer come from a fraternity. I am not. I don't think the killer's even lives in Idaho. And that's my opinion. I think the killer is somebody who has done this before and seen an opportunity and took it. But now there's actually talk going on about the front door, going to the merit code actually being left open at 8:30 that morning. So there's a lot of speculation. There's even talk about the killer maybe mentioned while coming in the front door, the merit code door. But if that was the case, there was 2 survivors in that room on the first floor. So that couldn't be possible. So there's so much speculations going on, guys. But anyways, let's get right back to the video.
things that we see as out of the ordinary are simply part and parcel of their everyday life? Or is there something more sinister hidden underneath? Let's take a look. So if you remember Jack Kay, now Jack Kay was someone who cropped up in the Venmo payments. Jack Kay's sister had made a payment, and the reference of that payment just simply gave the time stamp of 3:30 a.m. Now, we don't know whether that had any relevance to anything whatsoever, but it just seemed a little bit strange that Jack Kay, his sister, Venmo payment reference 3:30 a.m. And we're saying that the murders took place around this time. That's the time frame that they're kind of saying. Now, Jack Kay, they're pretty much saying that he had dealings with Ethan on the night of the murders. Potentially that he drove him around, and that's what the Venmo payment was for. It was for payment for driving them around midnight. Now, can I confirm that? I can't obviously confirm it because I can't speak to Ethan and I can't speak to Jack. So in terms of how truthful is that, how factual is that, we don't know. It's just information that's floating around. But let's go through this thread and see what you think to it. Across Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and 4chan, there is ample mention of Jack Katovich. He is Ethan's frat brother, I think a current pledge, and seems to have potentially driven Ethan and Xana around midnight the night in question. Now, is this who the police, law enforcement had referenced when they said about people being questioned who had driven people around? I know that they said that there was someone who'd driven the girls around. Whether law enforcement had also spoken to this person, who knows? Who knows? We can only again.
Okay, so this person is different than the person who drove him from the food truck home. So this person is a different driver, I guess, which is actually Ethan's frat brother. So I wanted just to clear it up, guys. Anyways, let's jump right back to the video.
Speculate, but that's where this name kind of crops up from. Venmo payments, and it seems that's what the Venmo payment was for. So whether Ethan was paying him some fuel money around that time, and then Jack would go on to drive them around, who knows? But if that's the case, then you know that we've got some missing times as well. You know, this between sort of midnight and 3, and you know there seems to be a void of time. He is also, from my understanding, the first person who contributes to Ethan's memorial GoFundMe. He contributed $6 for each one of the victims. Twitter here, look. I find it interesting that Jack Kay, who Ethan Chapin's last Venmo transaction was with, donated $6 to Ethan's GoFundMe page, £6 to Xana's page, and 6 and 6 to Kaylee's and Maddie's shared page, 6666. Not sure what this person's trying to get at. $6 is a little bit of an odd one, an odd number. Now, I don't know how Venmo works. I don't use Venmo. You know, I'm not bothered about donations over here. This is not a platform that I use. So I don't know whether if you donate $10, they take 4. 40% seems a little bit of a deduction to me, so I can't work out the 6. Someone else might be able to clarify that in comments, whether there is some significance to that. But so this goes on to look at this. Look, these details alone are obviously not damning. They only become that way.
And again, I want to say the Venmo payment. People conspiracy theorists wanted to run off with that. The $6 was for the 6 people in the house, which was a hit, guys. Look, that is ridiculous. I do not believe that. Neither should you guys. So yes, that was actually something that was out there by the people who wants to start conspiracy theories. Is this $6 that was sent was a hit for all 6 people inside that house? That is ridiculous and bonkers, guys. Anyways, let's jump right back to the video.
When you connect them to the IG account DEDLY, as you'll see, there are many red flags to notice in this account's posts. Notice the knife and the dates of the other 2 posts. So what you're basically seeing here I don't know whether I can click on this. My mouse is acting up. So what we got here is someone with a knife with a hilt here, you know, like the K-bar knife. Now, whether that's a mock-up dress one, I don't know. It's hard to tell in that picture, but it goes on to say, Sigma rule number 1, eliminate the biggest threat in the room. Someone's obviously commented, so is this the knife you used? Don't know whether that was JLR. And then what we're saying, we've got this post over here, which is dated November 15th with best weekend ever. Now, what they're basically saying, which we're going to go through, is this, look. So that wouldn't obviously hold any importance whatsoever if this account is not connected to this person. And it may not be connected to him, but we're going to be looking at some things that seemingly connect Jack to this account. Now, this is something that's been brought to people's attention, goobers. Now, this is apparently robots that have to hide from being murdered permanently, constantly. And this seems to depict 3 females here. So 1, 2, and 3, and then a 4th, which is a male. And again, these are like murder bots of some description. And there are references, nudges to goobers in the Roblox games world, where people come together and it's like a horror thing. And that's where the 6 comes into play, because apparently there's 6 different types of murder bot. But again, that's going down a rabbit hole.
But that brings me back to the first of the video, guys. Can we go off of something? And now, look, this is all just somebody speculating, guys. There's speculations out there, and there's a lot of that. So we just got to deal with it. So, but can we really look at a picture and determine whether that person is maybe crazy or out there or, you know, unsocial or whatever else it may be? Because, I mean, you may be just doodling, you know, scribbling one day and actually draw up something, and someone look at it and be like, if you're going to go off of something like that, then that picture you done that one day, then it may be out there and maybe demonic or whatever else you want to call it. So, I mean, in fraternities, guys, who knows what goes on in fraternities? Who knows what they talk about, what they practice, if they practice anything? I mean, it can go forever. We don't know that. So again, guys, this is all speculations. But can we really go off of a picture? That's my question to you guys. Anyways, guys, let's jump right back to the video.
We're just touching the surface of this just to see what you think. So yeah, we've got 3 females, 1 male, which is a drawing that's been done by the person who owns this account. Okay? So let's go back. So still, we're trying to say that the person who owns this account, yeah, there's some things here what don't look great. Now, what they're saying, the question, of course, is how do we know Jack K is behind this IG? We don't. And I'll admit this was the part I was most skeptical about. But there are different indications that he really was more than just a follower of the art account. The bio of Jack's personal IG literally only mentions a snowmobile. That snowmobile pops up on the DDLY account. He also commented on one of the DDLY posts in a way that seemed to indicate he knew about internal decisions of whoever was. So what we're seeing here on this side is Jack's personal IG account with the 2013 Arctic Cat M800 Limited. And then we've got the DLDLY showing what appears to be an Arctic Cat M800 Limited. And just so you know, I've done there's a few different styles of this, but I've found one just here. I'll overlay it over the top. And that is one that I found just by doing a Google search on that model. But so that's where they're trying to connect a potential for that. Which, to be fair, that in itself looks quite damning. Again, there is still chances that it's not, but hold on, that doesn't bode too well. If you would want to add to that, check this out. Jack K in his Instagram.
Okay, so we're looking into this, we're getting into this, and it's getting pretty deep, guys. I will say that this actually is looking interesting for sure. I mean, once you start digging into people's social medias and people start posting stuff and people start posting pictures, you track that picture back to the person who owns it, but we may not know, may not think that actually is the IG holder or whatever you want to call it page, but they have a picture or something they post someplace else. So you track it back to that. So that's what's going on here as well, guys. So all of this is kind of tying in together. So he basically Harsh is telling us a story with these pictures right here. So, anyways, let's get back to the video.
Bio has the name of the show ski. That ski name is what appears on the other Insta page with masks and a knife with him riding it, which means it's on his own page. And someone's just put a little clip here, and they've put DDLY, face reveal and consistent posts, and JK Tov, possibly. So this is where we're seeing sort of interactions. We carry on. Jack also seems a bit generally depraved. And that's what we got here. I've also read that apparently Jack follows, or at least followed, all 6 of the roommates on IG, and none of them followed him back. There's also stuff about Jack's sister and a Venmo for 3:30 a.m. We touched on that earlier being talked about, but I don't have much interpretation of that part. Ultimately, the most important premise that needs to be true for most of this to mean anything is that the IG account needs to be Jack's. If I was betting, I would say it seems clear that he is at least affiliated with the account, something beyond just being a follower. I heard someone say the account belongs to someone named Ryan, but I think most of us know that burner IGs are far too easy to make for that to be very confounding. So I'm not going to take that info with too much weight unless there's more on that. Think about what it would mean if Jack K was in fact behind the other account, though, which again seems very possible. We would have a person who was first to donate to Ethan's GoFundMe, yet who was also posted best weekend ever that same 2-day span. We'd have a person who seems to own a knife that matches the murder weapon, has documented fascination with murder, including being obsessed with a show about robots who have to constantly hide from being murdered, and had clear personal knowledge of all the victims. This same person, remember, definitely interacted with Ethan the night that he was murdered, and then was the first to donate to the GoFundMe, only to call it the best weekend ever. Am I crazy? Or is this by far the most compelling Idaho suspect out there? So we have a quick look and see if he's still asleep.
Here you guys have it, guys. Look. Okay, so this person actually is a frat brother. Okay? So we have that. So we've tied stuff in with each other with the counts of IG. But who is this person actually? And did this person have anything to do with the killings? Who is the other driver besides the one that we know of from the food truck? There's all kinds of questions we can ask, guys. And it just gets crazier, guys. People is diving in deep, and it is getting very, very deep out there, whatever you want to call it, guys. I don't know. I'm speechless, guys. But anyways, go check out the channel. There's a lot more where that comes from, guys. But first and foremost, love yourself, like yourself, be nothing but yourself. Like, subscribe to the channel. It's highly appreciated. Without further ado, guys, your boy Deuces. I'm out. Thank you, guys.